leisure, just coming back on like maybe a final video or two and what I might touch on what I experienced with Lyft. There's pitfalls and tumbles to the game, to any game when you deciding to get money. One of the major ones is just maintenance. Like, you have to be able to understand that proper, preparation prevents poor performance. If you got any type of prevention, it is going to be better than the cure. If you let the car go ragged or you run it ragged, when it comes times to fix it, it's going to cost you a lot more than what it would have cost you if you would have just been taking care of it as you go. I stay on top of my car when it comes to the oil changes, any type of tire rotation, anything at all that comes up with the car. Like, I make sure that I keep all of the receipts, track it, and log it. Like, I don't let anything go past a day or two. Like, I prefer to get the maintenance done on Monday morning, have my maintenance morning, but on worst come to worst on Wednesday. Like, I don't really too much like having to do any type of maintenance on my car on the busiest days of the week, when I know I could have got it done the beginning part of the week when I was going to be making money, but obviously not as much as I would on a Thursday or a Friday and a Saturday. Like, you don't want to have to take care of that during the busier parts of the week. Price hikes, it's like just the way it is. Like I said before, going to Sam's Club and Costco's and places like that end up taking a lot of the bite out of your money so that you don't have to worry about it as much. But every once in a while that's going to happen, and I guess if you prep up for that, then you'll be good to go. It won't really be as big of a problem. There are legal implications, like sometimes the insurance that you're with is not necessarily covered by Lyft or Uber. And so if you get into a situation, even if you're not in the wrong and you're in the right, just because you were operating with them in your car under Lyft or Uber, you might not be covered. And so now that I'm out here, I probably, if I do get involved in Lyft again, I won't be using my car because I've already made the money that I needed to make. I believe that if you're using a rental car, then you won't get the bonus, but that's really of no concern to me. I mean, I would like the bonus, but at the end of the day, if I could be underneath their insurance, then I would much rather that, take that route. Some people have come up to me and asked me about how they feel about the exchange leasing program through Uber. I wouldn't recommend it. At the end of the day, you'd be better off getting your own car and paying it off and just doing what you can than to go through their program. They probably don't even, according to some people, don't even report, to a credit bureau. So you'd be paying hella money on a car that you're not receiving any good or bad points for on your credit score. You're just paying it into a hole. A lot of those type of things, they're set up to where they're meant to make money, regardless of whether anybody else end up getting it. And so sometimes people mention that they weren't, getting as much money as they could have gotten because they felt like after dropping off a ride that got them a lot of money going a long distance, they didn't have anything coming back. Well, if you got a fuel efficient car, that won't matter so much. I can understand their frustration, but at the end of the day, I used the bonus that I received for $130 before I moved to Vegas. It was enough to sustain a ride from Atlanta to Arizona. Like, that's how much money it was. $30 worth of Jackson, Mississippi. So, like, unless you got a ride that's going ridiculously far out of your area, your car should be able to handle you going back to where you got to go. A lot of times you would find a ride when you go out, but in the event that you don't, if you got a car that's fuel efficient, it won't really matter that you rolled out that long. Giving somebody a long ride. I've had rides after those games at the Mercedes Stadium where I made like $110 just off of one ride. Like, I don't care about riding back home on my own fuel. I made $110 off of just one of these dudes. Like, another thing you definitely got to keep your eyes peeled for is the police, G. Like, you know what I'm saying? When you out on the road, whether you a professional driver, whether you just a Class C car driver, like, They out there to take money, take freedom, take life. Like, that's what they're there for. If you out there and you fucking playing around, you're gonna find out that your money is gonna start disappearing. Like, you need to be on the lookout for speed traps. You feel me? If you're the most of your money is gonna be made at speeds of 25, sometimes 30. If you're in any area and you're going more than 25, you might want to automatic signs. Like, if you're a professional driver, you're doing that anyway. But for those that just, drive for leisure, if you're doing anything but 25 or 35 on your dash, you might want to immediately start looking around. If you already see that other people are being pulled over, then that's obviously another sign, because if there's one, then there's probably another one around. Like, you can definitely lose money if you're not doing proper pickups and stops and stuff like that, or if you're breaking speed limits. Like, you're going to definitely keep tabs on certain things that can be controlled. For the most part, you can at least minimize and break it down. But I've seen so many people caught in speed traps in areas where it was like, you should have known that they were over here. Should have known you was going to end up getting a ridiculous ticket over here. But, I guess it happens to anybody. If you in a state that is not legalized, that somebody pull out some bud or some shit like that, like, I'm not telling you what to do, but at the end of the day, like, you need to have a clear and cut. Like, your car can get impounded, so realizing that's, accepting of that type of shit, and it's not permissible. It might not be something that you want to dabble with. Somebody getting your car, and they come in there with that type of shit, you can get jammed up. You feel me? All of them old states with their old antique ass ways, they're not, getting with the program. They could definitely put you in a jam. So if somebody get in the back of your car and they doing whatever, man, like, don't get in nobody's fucking business. Mind your own. But if you feel like somebody going to jeopardize your situation, then, you need to be able to do what you need to do. If you live elsewhere, it might be a different scenario. But, until then, for the rest of people who aren't, then that's like something that's a precaution. Because I've also heard from other drivers and people who are riders and stuff like that about what the fuck goes on during their rides. That kind of like, it's like, oh, okay. Now, like, the downside, another pitfall and tumble, the downside that I don't really care for with Lyft is that, and Uber, is their whole rating and deactivation system. Yes, my account on the both are still active, they're still good. I'm just not later, but a lot of times they don't ever really give no type of proper feedback, because at the end of the day, if people were to actually chime in with Lyft, between the drivers and the riders, they will understand that, like, there's certain things that's not gonna, show up. You got people who cancel rides out because they're trying to finesse, trying to get ways to save money or try to, fuck off. You got some people who gonna give you a bad rating because they mad and they frustrated at Lyft about how much money they had to pay out, or because they frustrated at another driver and they gonna take the shit out on you. Or you actually got some people who are freaking closet racists. Like, it be that way. Like, it ain't nothing you can do about it. I've had people who were riders tell me that they look at them and then drove off and then just purposely didn't cancel so that it wouldn't mess up their ratings and just wouldn't come back or answer the phone. Heard all types of stories between riders and drivers of, like, different things that they seen going on during their rides where they was like, it kind of threw them off, and it would make sense that it would throw you off, because people are good detectives of other human beings, and so when you start feeling vibes and stuff like that, start reading people, understanding some shit ain't right. But I put on there and say, is this person, seeing that you got a nice car and they on some jealous, envious, hating nigga shit? Because that's not the reason that they put up there. Are you a closet raiser? Are you this or that? Are you stuck up? Are you bougie? Like, they don't have that on there. Are you mad at the driver because it's a price hike? Like, it's not going to say all of that. They're just going to be able to hide, behind a computer screen and put whatever. That's kind of the downfall of rideshare 2 taxi, is that as long as a person provided a ride and they did it in a timely fashion and did what they were supposed to do, they got their money, they kept it pushing. it wasn't no need for anybody to call up there unless they were to get in an accident or unless somebody was do some really shit that was off the wall. Like, we have to call. This is not something we can ignore. But other than that, most of the time they just got their money and they kept going. But we live in this digitized age where people hide behind computers and all types of stuff. So you just end up having to deal with that passive aggressive bullshit and how people hide behind everything in keyboards. But that's one of the, you know, main downfalls. But it's still a lot. It's more benefits than it is, you know, drawbacks. I still say it's a good platform for people to use to get their money up and do what they need to do, however they choose to do it. You know, I just want to get into different ventures. I'm planning on getting this beat machine and everything up. So, like, if you all want to listen in, tune in, comment, like, subscribe. It'd be very much appreciated. If not, do whatever you want to do. But I'll be dropping that soon. But yeah, drop your opinions or whatever like that. Any comments you had on that? Kind of like, you know, shoot the shit and have the meeting of the minds or whatever, or anything else that you got, you know, you want to throw or chime in. Peace.